Hi guys and gals, welcome to Hope This Works, our homestead. I'm Kevin and this is Billy Joe.
Dear homesteading community, we're here today to define some terms, to combat divisiveness within our community, to educate, to inspire, and to entertain.
And we'd like to speak to the comments made in the Pure Living Through Life video that maybe all of you have seen. The definition of community that we use here
Throughout our Hope This Works homesteading journey, we've encountered differing opinions about what does and doesn't define homesteading. Between the two of us, we're in several groups on social media based on our individual areas of interest, and within those groups, we've often witnessed the divisiveness that we're talking about. Take one person's opinion versus another person's opinion, add in some judgment,
you're doing it wrong,
and you've got a divide. That led me to wondering, what is our commonality?
what one thing is it that makes us all homesteaders? So I did a little research and found that Wikipedia contains all the pertinent information. So that's what I'll be quoting here. There's history.
A homestead originally meant a farmhouse and its adjacent outbuildings.
There's legal terms.
Homestead principle, a legal concept that one can establish ownership of unowned property through living on it.
And there's more information about those things if you're interested. What we're talking today is about modern homesteading. Homesteading, a lifestyle of agrarian self-sufficiency as practiced by modern homesteader or urban homesteader,
Keywords there are lifestyle and practice.
rather than played at.
Homesteading is a lifestyle of self-sufficiency. It is characterized by subsistence agriculture, home preservation of food, and it may or may not also involve the small-scale production of textiles, clothing, and craftwork for household use or sale.
Pursued in different ways around the world and in different historical eras, modern homesteaders often use renewable energy options, including solar electricity and wind power.
Many also choose to plant and grow vegetables and to raise livestock.
Homesteading is not defined by where someone lives, such as the city or the country, but by a lifestyle choice they make.
In homesteading, social and government support systems are frequently eschewed in favor of self-reliance and relative deprivation in order to maximize independence and self-determination.
The degree of independence occurs along a spectrum, with many homesteaders creating foodstuffs or crafts to appeal to high-end niche markets in order to meet their financial needs. Actual financial savings from adopting a homesteading lifestyle can be significant if planned and executed properly.
Many homesteaders express deep satisfaction with their standard of living and feel that their lifestyle is healthier and more rewarding than more conventional patterns of living.
Notice the word characterized. Nowhere in the definition does it say all people. It says many. We do this because we eventually want to have all the systems built so that we can only consume what we produce.
What I discovered, by definition, that we share is a lifestyle. By definition, that lifestyle is an attempt to produce rather than consume. We share independence and self-determination. We share a goal of living a healthier and more rewarding life.
I would enjoy some comments and some feedback on that from you guys to let us know and share with us.
Nowhere in any definition did it state that you were required to do any of the particular activities to be included in the homesteading community.
I would also note that nowhere in the characteristics did it include building your own home. It isn't the activities that you choose to practice, the method, resources, sensibilities, skill set, interests, or location. Our local area has lots of people who homestead, and we work together. For instance, I work for a small construction company, and we build houses. That's my day job, and that's dirty and gross. And sometimes I stand in a septic field, and sometimes I run a shovel, and sometimes I waterproof basements, but that's my day job. And I come home to be a homesteader, and we all work together. We all have different sensibilities and sensitivities. We all have different resources available to us. We live in different parts of the country. Some of us heat with wood and some of us do not. So we use what we have, and I think part of that is being a homesteader.
There's gotta be... Put your 2 cents in, dude. Come on. Alright. There's gotta be a million ways to do this.
Ours is different than his, but ours is different than yours. It isn't chickens, pigs, cows, gardening, canning, sewing, homeopathy, woodworking, being off-grid, prepping, vermicomposting, having a well, or a composting toilet.
A couple of days ago, Kevin asked me to watch a video on YouTube from PL4L in which the woman made comments about people playing at homesteading. Her comments made many homesteaders angry, as evidenced in the comments and the resulting responses from several YouTubing homesteaders.
I'd like to give a shout out to a few channels that I've subscribed to and some great videos on this particular subject, and they've raised great points. Lumna Acres, Whistle Thicket, Wrangler Star, Homestead Dad, Susie Homesteader, You Can't Eat the Grass, Dirt Patch Heaven, and Boss of the Swamp.
I applaud their efforts to provide information, education, clarification, and inspiration. I encourage you to watch the videos from these homesteading channels, but I do not encourage you to watch PL4L videos. He's done some homework and watched more videos to try to gain a sense of understanding about these people and their reality. I refuse to watch even another second of any of their videos because, based on his homework and my analysis of her comments, I've come to the conclusion they're using homesteading as clickbait, which I find completely unethical. I refuse to have them gain financially on my behalf. I shall also not use any of their affiliate links or contribute to their Patreon account.
She implicitly stated that they don't refer to themselves as homesteaders, but they will use the label so that people will understand what they're doing. Now that's just confusing. If you use a label, it should fit what you are doing, or people will not understand. What they are doing is building a house. And I do that in my day job.
A fallacy is the use of invalid or otherwise faulty reasoning. Some fallacies are committed intentionally to manipulate or persuade by deception, while others are committed unintentionally due to carelessness or ignorance.
Then she calls out people who are playing at homesteading by playing at chickens. Meet Big Red and Little Red. And playing at sewing and playing at canning.
Ad hominem is a fallacious argumentative strategy whereby an argument is rebutted by attacking the character, motive, or other attribute of the person, rather than attacking the substance of the argument itself. I think the reason that so many people were angered by her calling chickening, sewing, and canning playing is that they saw this as an attack on their person.
It sounds like her intention was to insinuate that homesteaders don't take it seriously because they don't build their home from the ground up. This is authentically our life. Take Lumna Acres video, and playing is enjoyable. Why not play at homesteading? I like raising chickens. I like raising my pig. We like gardening. I love woodworking. She thinks hammers are heavy, and that's okay. She doesn't play in the wood shop. We like the way we live. I build houses from the ground up at my day job, and then I come home to repair my own home for our own comfort. And
I think that I think that what also contributed to the anger was her use of the word playing. If I have not perfected a craft yet, I practice it. People are practicing homesteading.
Those that are not yet in the location that they dream of, perhaps they live in suburbia or even in an apartment, they can practice homesteading. They can gain knowledge and experience. If their motivation is lifestyle, by definition to produce rather than consume, and they have an independent and self-determined mindset, and they want to homestead because they believe it is healthier and more rewarding life, then I definitely encourage them to try and practice and play any part of it.
She went on to say, but they don't do a lot of these uglier homesteading tasks.
Yeah.
You don't call yourself a homesteader, but you call what you're doing a homesteading task?
There are ugly tasks in homesteading. Shoveling chicken coop, joining the pig in his pen to repair his trough, digging holes for water tanks, replacing my bucket in the composting toilet, staying up all night doing canning, because once you start...
Oh, and sewing. Sewing isn't my forte, but if I have to do it, I'm definitely going to prick my finger, and there's blood involved in that. She went on to say, to us, what we define as homesteading has not been glamorous. She went on to describe some basic home construction tasks and called them gross.
I understand her words to mean that if you aren't building your own home, you aren't homesteading. If by definition you aren't doing homesteading, why are you speaking to homesteaders while you are doing home construction? She went on to say that people don't like doing the hard work, and they feel that's why a lot of people quit. Because they realize they don't want to homestead, they just want to play homesteading.
I agree that if someone goes into this with no experience or knowledge about the work it entails, they may quit because they realize they don't actually want to do whatever it takes for them to survive. To be a successful homesteader, you need a really strong why.
She finishes with disdain. And when they are done, they want to go back to their warm house where they have all their basic needs met. Be warm and take a hot shower. Yes.
Okay. If you're a homesteader and you have done your job, at the end of the day, that's exactly what you get to do. Go to your warm house where all your basic needs are met and take a hot shower.
Say what you mean what you say, and try to not say it mean.
Okay. You know what really burned my butt?
Mm-hmm.
She tried to defend using the word homesteading, even though they don't consider themselves homesteaders. She said she used to make an amalgamation of nuts, dates, and cocoa powder and called it a brownie. She said people would argue with her and say, that's not a brownie. But, she said, if she called it what it is, date, nut, cocoa mash, people wouldn't understand.
So her insinuation is that people are too stupid to understand the words that you really mean. Dates, nuts, cocoa powder, mash. So it makes it okay to call it something else.
If you were to take a granola bar or an amalgamation of dates, nuts, and cocoa powder and package it up for sale and put the word brownie on the label, you would be lying. It's simply false. This is a granola bar. This is a brownie. Components of a granola bar can go in a brownie, and it's still a brownie, but they are not equal. It's apples and oranges. You can't call an apple an orange and change apples and oranges. You can't call an apple an orange and change the state of the apple. It's still an apple. Call it what it is. That's why it already has a name.
Brownies.
Don't use homesteading, which is really hard work, to describe your home construction. Not the same thing.
These are hammers.
These are hammers.
That's tape. They're not the same thing. There are many real homesteading YouTube channels showing the myriad of ways to do this. We are one of them, and this is how we do it.
Right on.
Thanks for joining us, guys. She's going to eat a brownie. I want to give a shout out to a couple YouTube channels, most of those that I'm subscribed to since. But a few weeks ago, I watched a video and I would. I have a lot of hammers.
Hammers are heavy.
And tape.
He has a lot of tape.
See? Tape. Hammers.
You should see the amount of hammers.
Those are not hammers. That's not tape. I don't have enough clamps.
It doesn't.
Take two.